पिछले कुछ सालों में भारत और चीन के रिश्तों में बहुत ज़्यादा तल्खी देखी गई है। पहले डोकलाम, उसके बाद गलवान और अब तवांग। तो क्या इसके पीछे चाइना का मकसद क्या है? चाइना आखिर भारत को क्यों इंगेज करना चाहता है? इसी पर बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं ब्रिगेडियर रिटायर्ड सतपाल सिंह दहिया। सर, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका ब्रेकिंग न्यूज विद नीतीश। इधर जो पिछले दिनों हुआ है तवांग में हुआ है, और ये समय समय पर पहले डोकलाम, फिर गलवान, फिर आपका तवांग, ये चीज़ें होती रहती हैं। जो चाइना की पॉलिसी है 1 palm and 5 fingers वाली, तो क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो है फिर दूसरे इलाकों में भी ये स्प्रेड करेगा? अभी तो अरुणाचल हो गया आपका, भूटान के पास आसपास हो चुका, आपका डोकलाम के पास हो गया, सिक्किम में पहले भी हो चुका है, अब जो है कुछ जो नेपाल से लगता हुआ इलाका है आपका, वहाँ भी उत्तराखंड, वहाँ भी क्या आपको लगता है कि आने वाले दिनों में ऐसे स्किर्मिशेस या इस तरह की का सिचुएशन देखने को आपको मिलेगा?
My short answer to that is that definitely will get these opportunities. There will be more skirmishes down the line, which place I and you cannot say. But you have to again see the China as a country as a whole. It is a country also, it is a civilization also. And China as a civilization was actually to the east of the Great Wall, which is living Mongolia, living Xinjiang and living Tibet. Tibet, Xinjiang and Mongolia were never part of China at any point of time in the history. And even if you see today's map also of China, there is a line which comes from the northeast to southwest to draw a line. In the 40% of the area which is fertile area, which is the populated area of China, area-wise is 40%. Population-wise, it has got more than 92% population over there. Economic condition-wise, you see they control the 95-96% of the economy of the China is into that line. If you draw a hypothetical line starting west of Beijing and take it downwards toward the Taiwan, right of that line or toward east of that line, most of China is located over there. So this is an anomaly in China's demography, in their land occupation and their whatever economy and whatever other factors are there. So China have taken over Tibet, Xinjiang, Mongolia to create buffer and have more resources, basically from that point of view. And China under communism has been an expansionist power. It want to expand out. Salami sizing is part of that story. Yeah. Whereas civilizationally, before communism, if you see China has been a very peaceful civilization like India. But as a country under the communist, they have got that expansionist mentality.
सर, लेकिन अगर आप देखें तो जब से शी जिनपिंग आया है तब से ये कुछ ज़्यादा होना शुरू हो गया। उसके पहले भी अगर आप हु जिनताओ रहे, उसके बाद डेन जियांगपिंग रहे, उसके बीच में जी जियांग भी रहे, तमाम लोग रहे वहाँ पर। और जो चाइनीज़ कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी का जो एक हिस्सा है जिसको शंघाई गैंग कहा जाता है, वो दैट इज़ अपोजिंग शी जिनपिंग।
was opposing, not now.
हाँ, जो भी कर ले, लेकिन उसके आने के बाद जो एक्सपेंशनिस्ट डिज़ायर है चाइना की, वो और ज़्यादा देखने को मिल रही है। आप देखेंगे कि अभी 14 जो उसके नेबरिंग कंट्रीज हैं उसके साथ बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट्स है चाइना का। तो आप इसको कैसे देखते हैं कि पहले तो कंपैरेटिवली बहुत शांति थी, लेकिन शी जिनपिंग के आने के बाद जिस तरह के हालात हुए, लगातार 3-4 होते रहे और आए दिन खबरें आती रहती हैं कि वहाँ घुस गया चाइना, इधर। हालांकि बॉर्डर्स आर नॉट डिमार्केटेड, आई बीन टू दोज एरियाज, लेकिन फिर भी जिस तरह से अब सामने आमने कन्फ्लिक्ट जो जिस तरह से हो रहा है, पहले तो अब यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू यूज वेपन्स, लेकिन पहले तो लाठी डंडे और उसके कांटेदार तार के साथ वो भी इस्तेमाल करने की इजाज़त नहीं होती थी, लेकिन अब वो बहुत देखने को आ रहा है। तो इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं, क्योंकि काफ़ी शिफ्ट आया है उसमें चाइना की पॉलिसी?
सर, अगर आप देखेंगे Deng Xiaoping, when he started the modernization of China in 1979-80s, he said, hide your strength and bid your time. मीन्स अपनी स्ट्रेंथ को हाइड करके रखिए जब तक आपका समय नहीं आता. एंड सेकंड थ्योरी विच चाइनीज हैव बीन सेइंग इज द आयरन hand in a velvet gloves. They have been saying it. And if you compare India and China, you take any parameter of economics which are there, starting from 90 up to 1991, we are almost at parity. Be it GDP, be it power consumption, be it the construction of dams, be it any other factor you take it, we are almost at par. From 90 onwards, they started edging, and the growth was gradual. Gradual till 2003-4. And I'll say then gap started increasing, 2007, 8, 9. And from 9 onwards, if you see the graph of China and disparity between India, the figure has gone boom. Suddenly you find today, China's GDP per capita income is 5 times ours. Their military spending is 4 times ours, whatever we are spending it. So now they probably feel that they have arrived, as far as India is concerned. They got the strength and they can finger us. And in long run, China also realizes it, that all the 14, 15 neighbors which China has got around them, India is the only country which has got a size, demography and capability to probably challenge and match China into international arena. So this type of thing what you are talking about are bound to increase. Though in order of priority if you see, अगर आप देखेंगे चाइना की जो ऑर्डर ऑफ प्रायोरिटी है इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन के अंदर, इंडिया डजंट फिगर मिलिटरीली. देयर फर्स्ट थ्रेट इज, फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव इज ताइवान, second is maybe Japan, then maybe India, then maybe Philippines, then maybe Vietnam and all these countries which come into that fore. So we don't figure number one into their scheme of things. But yes, from the geostrategic point of view, they want us tied down, they want to keep our border active, and we may not be surprised if in coming time, LAC may become LOC. Because they will, more troops you have to keep, more money you have to commit, and more economy will suffer. China probably can afford that. They are spending almost 270 odd billion US dollar per year on their defense. We are spending around between 70 to 80. The budget has just come, I think, to 74, 75 billions we have spent onto that. China being a bigger power, better economy, they can probably afford to activate the LAC into LOC. It may not have live firing, but maybe committing troops of those heights, sustaining them, logistic costs, transportation costs, those costs will have a burden on India. And to do that, this best option is the Islamicizing, which you have been telling. कि जाए छोटा इलाका पकड़िए और निकल के आप आ जाइए, हमें वहाँ ट्रूप कमिट करने पड़ेंगे, डिवीजन डालनी पड़ेगी, ब्रिगेड डालनी पड़ेगी. And second advantage China which has gotten against us in Tibet plateau is that our terrain, except Ladakh terrain is similar to both sides, but starting from our Himachal side and going right up to the Wolong, the terrain favors Chinese in the sense that their terrain is barren, devoid of any forestation, vegetation, and they got a plateau. So it is easier to develop line of communication. They can develop railways, they can develop road, they can develop everything. In our side, from the watershed, the ridges which are coming down into India. Starting from Wolong side, you come down to this side, and they are highly dense jungles. And rainfall is very heavy this side. So construction of roads, construction of tunnels, railways is that much more costly, that much more time consuming, and their lifespan is much lesser. So our cost increases in that. So that advantage China has definitely got. But in one field we have got advantage over them, that is the Air Force. Because our bases are almost at sea level, be it in Assam, be it in Bengal, be it in Sikkim or which are the areas, and their bases are in the altitude area. Their load carrying capacity decreases drastically. So Air Force advantage we have got, we should exploit that. And third thing we should never forget, in longer war, the China has got a jugular choke point that lies in the state of Malacca. The 80% trade has to pass through that area. And our geography of India gives us an advantage. But this advantage may not remain very long, and which I feel probably the Indian government or Indian people or Indian state has not paid enough attention to Navy. The Navy is the one which should be focusing and putting our more money into that, so that we can keep that Malacca state of China under our control.
वर्ल्ड के आपको बता दूं कि जो मलाक्का स्टेट है इंडियन ओशन में, उसमें कई चोक पॉइंट्स हैं, जैसा ब्रिगेडियर साहब बता रहे थे, जिसमें अगर वॉर के सिनेरियो, फुल वॉर के सिनेरियो में भारत उन पॉइंट्स को चोक कर सकता है, क्योंकि चाइना का जो सब्सटेंशियल व्यापार है, जो ट्रेड है, उसी रूट से होकर गुजरता है. इसके अलावा वर्ल्ड का जो 60% ट्रेड है वो मलाक्का स्टेट से होकर गुजरता है, जो कि इंडियन ओशन में है. इस तरह सर एक और सवाल, चाइना इज ऑल्सो वेरी क्लोज टू रशिया. इन केस अगेन इससे हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन, अगर फ्यूचर में कभी फुल फ्लेजेड वॉर होता है, दैट्स व्हाट अमेरिका इज ऑल्सो सेइंग, तो विल रशिया कम टू इंडियाज हेल्प और इट विल साइड विद चाइना?
Nitish ji, to my mind, though I may be wrong, I'm not a student of this geopolitics or something, but Russia and China friendship or enmity has got their own dynamics. Russia was superpower up to 1989-88 when they broke down, and China is now, you can say, replaced them at number 2 power in the world, and they got their own problems. To my mind, the friendship between Russia and China is the friendship of means convenience. जब तक वो रहेगा चलेगा. Otherwise, there are lot many.
They have got border disputes with.
They had a border dispute. They are firing on that.
Yeah.
I think in 1969 or something, they had a heavy firing on the border. Number of people got killed over there. I think that river, Amru river, some river was there in which the firing has taken place. So they are firing with them. And other thing is that they will remain competitor for simple reason. One is the boundary dispute, and China's expansion will be at the cost of Russia. They got the difficulties in that, you can say, that Vladivostok जो port है, they dispute again.
Yes.
They dispute again. And don't forget, if the global warming take place and things which are saying go as per predictions, the trade may start from the Arctic side. The ice melts, and then Russia will become a very important player into the whole scheme of things.
Russia has also invited India to invest in that.
Invest that. So Russia will become an important player by itself. So it will no longer will be dependent on China for its support for whatever the trade takes place today or some other means. Yes, it is the, you can say, as long as the West want to choke Russia, they will take support of China or whosoever it comes. But I don't think in long run, either it is advantageous to them or it will help them to make India enemy for nothing. What are they going to gain if they attack in India? We have been a strong traditional friend of theirs for long and will remain so. Our interests never don't clash anywhere. We don't share any border. We don't share anything with them. So chances of that Russia will not do that stupidity. Neither should India do anything to provoke Russia beyond a point.
So, सर क्या आपको लगता है कि आप LAC पर भी रहे हैं, आप कई फ्रंटियर्स में आपने किया हुआ है, सर्व किया हुआ है कंट्री को, तो ये कहा जाता है चाइनीज़ आर्मी एज फार एज साइज इज़ कंसर्न, तो करीब 20-22 लाख की आर्मी है उनकी. हमारी जो 13 लाख स्ट्रॉन्ग आर्मी है इंडियन, तो पहले कहा जाता था कि बहुत दिक्कत होगी इंडियन आर्मी को. वी हैव बिन विनिंग ऑल दोज स्क्रमिशेस जो भी उनके साथ झड़पें हुई, जस्ट ऑन आवर पर्सनल वेलर्स ऑफ आवर सोल्जर्स. लेकिन नाउ कि अब जो मेक इन इंडिया जो हथियार भी बना रहे हैं हम, तमाम चीज़ें हो रही हैं, उससे इंडिया हैज़ ग्रोन स्ट्रॉन्गर. तो अब आप क्या समझते हैं कि अगर ये वॉर हो जाता है तो इंडियन आर्मी चाइनीज़ आर्मी के मुकाबले कहाँ स्टैंड करती है टेक्नोलॉजिकली एंड टेकिंग इनटू कंसिडरेशन टेक्नोलॉजी ऑल्सो?
देखिए, देयर आर टू कंपोनेंट, वन इज मैन एंड वन इज द मशीन. एज फार मशीन इज कंसर्न, टुडे देयर इज नो डाउट दैट चाइनीज हैव डेफिनेटली आर ahead of us. Be it your artificial intelligence, be it your robotics, be it your guns, warplanes, ships, or whatever the equipment they have got. And most of the technology which Chinese have got for their military technology, I am saying, it is not indigenous. Most of it is stolen.
Reverse engineering.
Reverse engineering, stolen and reverse engineering. I'll give you an example of that fighter engine, like they have got that GA-20 aircraft which they have got. They try to make the engine, which they have made. But the life of that engine is, I think, 1/3 of the normal engine, of the Russian engine. They are still buying the Russian engine. And the West engine made by GE and other companies, GE and Boeing, their engine capabilities are much, much higher than that. Their lifespan, these things are much higher. Notwithstanding that, but whatever numbers and all, their numerically they are superior to us. Their strength is, I think, today they have reduced it to 16.5 lakh is their army today, not 21 lakh.
They have announced it, but...
No, I think they have reduced it. Okay. Their number of ships they have got more than us. They have got tanks more than us. They have got guns more than us. They have got the field artillery more than us. Their missile force is larger than us. So as far as China is concerned, this army of 16.5 lakhs, these planes, these technologies, they cannot be amassed and brought against India. You start from Japan, Philippines, where the US people are based, South Korea, then you have got the Vietnam, then you have got the Taiwan state, and then Russia also. Now, of course, they got border treaty with Russia, but they cannot denude that area totally. So all this manpower equipment which are talking, they can bring some major portion. Yes, there was some advantage over us, but again, our complete defenses are in the mountains. And there is a normal saying of a soldier that mountain eats troop. So anybody sitting on a mountain, like our experience in Kargil, 10 people sitting on a peak, rugged peak, it has taken at least 1,000 men to dislodge them, and taken them at least 40, 50, 60 people dead, more injured, more maimed, and a lot of ammunition, then it has been taken off. So defender has got definite advantage on the mountains. As long as we are holding the peaks, we are holding the heights in the Himalayas, the Chinese army will require colossal amount of efforts. And technology has got a limit, beyond which it cannot go. Like we've seen in Kargil, we got the precision missiles and bombs from Israel. Even they were not that effective. We had Bofors which are very accurate gun, but again not very effective. So 10 rounds, you're putting only one round was falling on a cliff where you wanted that round to fall. So seeing all these factors, the technology advantage to some extent will get nullified, neutralized into Himalayas. Now coming to manpower, China stupidly, to my mind, brought one child policy, which they are paying for even today. And effect on the military cannot be understated. Today they have got a conscription army, where a soldier boy is picked up, he serves for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then he's back into his hometown. And this conscription army with one child policy is not a fighting army, which you have seen in the Galwan also, and number of other skirmishes which take place, which recently took place in the Tawang के right में जो हुआ था अभी Yangtze के ऊपर, that has taken place. They have been beaten back badly and they have gone back. It has not been publicized by India for various reasons, but they have been beaten nicely and properly. They have gone back. I give another example. In 1967, Nathula, you must have heard. Yes. My regiment was there in that battle. 2 grenadiers, led by Colonel Rai Singh. Later on, he became Brigadier Rai Singh. He got MVC for that battle. And one Captain Dagar, who was from Delhi, he got martyred in that. In that, we lost about, I think, close to 100 people. We lost in that battle. But Chinese, we killed more than 350 people plus. तो हम जैसे बात कर रहे हैं नाथुला के अंदर, तो 2 ग्रेनेडियर्स के साथ जो लड़ाई हुई इनकी, उस लड़ाई के बाद इन्होंने अगले 20-25 साल तक चाइनीज़ ने कहीं सर नहीं उठाया, कहीं मुंह नहीं खोला, जो उनकी बीटिंग वहाँ पे हुई है. एंड दे नो दैट इन नॉर्मल फाइट दे कैनॉट टेक ऑन द इंडियन आर्मी, बिकॉज आवर सोल्जर्स आर स्टिल वेरी स्टडी, विलेज बॉर्न, and they got that patriotism, they fight for the flag, fight for the nation. That factor is slightly going down in China. Example is in 1979, they went into Vietnam. Incidentally, that day our Prime Minister, that time Foreign Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was in Vietnam, and they attacked Vietnam, and they got a bloody nose. And they not after that done anything to Vietnam. And second factor, like today, whatever we may say, China, yes, they don't want India to come up beyond certain level. For that, they will try their everything. But they will buy open war, I got my reservation. So our response should be strong, resolute, and should look back into the eyes and give it back to them. They will never initiate a war, to my mind.
तो ये थे ब्रिगेडियर रिटायर्ड सतपाल सिंह दहिया, जो हमसे भारत और चीन के रिश्तों में लगातार आ रही तल्खी के बारे में बातचीत कर रहे थे. अगली बार एक ऐसे ही दिलचस्प मुद्दे को लेकर हम आपके सामने फिर से हाजिर होंगे. अगर आपको ये हमारा शो पसंद आया हो तो काइंडली हमें लाइक करें, शेयर करें और सब्सक्राइब करें. अगली बार तक के लिए नमस्कार.